The delegation chamber was carved from glass-like stone, illuminated by strands of pale light that hovered like mist in the air. Human diplomats lined one side, their stiff uniforms marked with medals that no longer felt like victories. On the opposite side stood the Zalari court, towering guards in living armor, nobles with translucent skin that shimmered like crystal, and at the center the Empress. She was nothing like what we'd imagined. Taller than any human, with skin patterned like constellations and eyes that seemed to hold whole galaxies. She moved with fluidity, like gravity bent to accommodate her. Every step radiated power but also strangeness. The kind of beauty that made you afraid to look too long. When the treaty was read aloud, she nodded once. But then, before the human council could close the proceedings, she spoke in a voice like chimes carried by the wind. "I demand a prize." Every human froze. Her words rolled through the chamber, translated by a device at her throat. Our diplomats shifted uneasily. General Roth, who led Earth's defense fleets, cleared his throat. "A prize, Your Excellency. Forgive me, but the war has ended. We seek peace, not tributes." The Empress tilted her head, as if amused by his defiance. "Peace has been granted. But in our custom there is balance. Gave you mercy. In return, I claim one of your kind." The chamber fell silent. The translators stuttered, confirming she had said exactly what we thought. "I demand a human." No one understood. Why would she, ruler of a star-spanning empire, want one fragile, exhausted human? Then her star-flecked gaze swept the hall and stopped on me. The selection. I wasn't a diplomat or a general. I wasn't even in uniform. I was an engineer, stationed on the orbital docks to maintain the failing life support systems. The only reason I stood there was because my supervisor had fallen ill, and I'd been sent as a last-minute replacement. An observer, nothing more. But when her eyes locked on mine, my stomach dropped into ice. "That one," she said, lifting a graceful finger. Gasps rippled through the human delegation. My name was spoken, my records checked, but she was unmoved. "He will come with me. That is my demand." I tried to protest. I'm no one. Just a technician. Surely someone else." Her gaze silenced me. It wasn't cruelty. It was something stranger, heavier, as if I had unknowingly walked into a current too strong to fight. General Roth stepped forward, visibly struggling between diplomacy and outrage. "Why him? What possible value could?" Her voice rang out again, unshakable. "Do you accept peace, or do you reject it?" And just like that, the entire fate of humanity balanced on me being given away. The council whispered frantically. I heard phrases: symbolic tribute, cultural misunderstanding, irreplaceable truce, before Roth finally spoke, his jaw tight. "If it is what you require, Empress, then he is yours." The guards closed in before I could move. My fate was sealed. The journey. Her ship was alive. Its walls pulsed faintly, veins of light running beneath translucent surfaces. It hummed not mechanically, but like the breathing of some colossal creature. I felt like prey swallowed whole. The Empress herself walked beside me as if I were a guest, not a captive. "You fear me," she said softly. "Shouldn't I?" I muttered. She smiled, or something close to it. "You fear what you do not understand. In this, you are like your people." Days blurred. I was given quarters larger than my entire apartment back home, filled with objects I couldn't comprehend. Floating orbs of liquid light, sculptures that changed when touched, food that tasted like emotions rather than flavors. I wasn't harmed. I wasn't questioned. I was watched. Every time I looked up, her eyes seemed to find me. At meals, in corridors, even in the gardens of crystal trees within her ship. It wasn't lust nor cruelty. It was scrutiny, like a scientist observing an unpredictable subject. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. Why me? Why a human at all? She considered me for a long moment. Then she spoke. Because you are not what you appear to be. The mystery. Her words haunted me. I searched for meaning, but she offered none. Instead, she began to ask questions. Endless questions. About Earth. About families, dreams, stories, fears. She listened with an intensity that felt invasive, but also desperate. One evening, in the observation hall where her ship's walls peeled away to reveal the stars, she stood beside me. In our culture, she said, we measure worth not by power, but by rarity. We, the Zalari, can bend matter, travel faster than light, rewrite biology. But we have lost something your kind still carries. I swallowed. And what's that? Her gaze fixed on me, starfields swirling in her eyes. The spark of unpredictability. You call it choice. I laughed nervously. Choice? You're saying you conquered half the galaxy, but envy that. Her voice dropped lower, almost reverent. We are bound by patterns. Everything we do, everything we think, follows paths written in our genetics, in the resonance of our minds. We are infinite, and yet predetermined. But you, human, when I look at you I see chaos, possibility, a living paradox. The realization hit me like cold water. To her I wasn't a prize. I was a key puzzle piece her species had lost. The middle, a dangerous bond. The weeks turned into months. I was kept at her side constantly. Not chained, not imprisoned, but tethered by expectation. We spoke daily. First I resented it. Then, slowly I began to notice things. She wasn't untouchable. She laughed, softly, at human jokes even she didn't fully understand. She lingered on stories of childhoods and friendships, things alien to her people's rigid society. And sometimes, when she thought I wasn't watching, her expression softened into something almost human. But not everyone aboard welcomed me. The nobles whispered, their crystalline skin darkening with disapproval. Guards watched me with disdain. I overheard fragments of conversation. Unworthy creature, contamination, blasphemy. One night, I was cornered by a Zalari noble in a corridor. His form glowed faintly with inner light. His voice sharp. She fixates on you. Do not mistake this for affection. You are an experiment, nothing more. And when she has what she wants, you will be discarded. I wanted to deny it. But the truth was I didn't know. The turning point. The answer came sooner than I expected. The Empress summoned me to a chamber unlike any other I'd seen, filled with swirling lights, resonant tones, and a central dais etched with fractal patterns. This is the nexus, she said. It binds our empire. It records all thought, all destiny. It is the lattice of what we are. I stepped closer, uneasy. Why bring me here? Her eyes bore into mine. Because I will ask you to do what no Zalari can. To break it. The chamber seemed to tilt. Break it. Why me? Because you are chaos, she said simply. Where we see inevitability, you see alternatives. Where we see patterns, you see freedom. You can choose. And in your choice lies the power to unshackle us from the chains of our perfection. I stared at the swirling lattice, the heartbeat of an empire. If I break this, what happens? Her voice was barely a whisper. We may collapse, or we may become something greater. Cannot know. That is why you must decide.